You're listening to Health Matters with Karen Key, getting you one step closer to a clean bill of health.
Dr Alek is a leading aesthetic medical practitioner with over 20 years' experience in his field, and he's recently launched skinmiles.com, a new and exciting online store in South Africa. Dr Alek has in-depth knowledge on the latest skincare trends, and he'll be giving us some insight into how our skincare regime needs to change with the seasons. Dr Alek, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Karen. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and having me on. And please feel welcome to call me Alek.
Alek, thank you. I was a little confused and feel quite embarrassed by the fact that I thought I could just do my face routine the same from January to December. Apparently not.
Well, generally speaking, one can, except with certain skin conditions. So some of us might have an oily skin or a combination skin, and they definitely react to the seasons, and one may have to change. Like, for example, is in summer where it gets warmer, and oily skin may not even need a moisturizer. So one can cut that out and put a very light moisturizer, maybe only at night during the winter months. But generally, if you have a normal skin, you can keep the same regime the year through.
So we should just keep a check on our own skin, though. I suppose we can see the changes. If there's any difference, we need to do something.
Correct.
And there are other factors, unfortunately, things like age, which I don't like to mention too loudly, and obviously things like gender and all those other factors. But what kinds of things affect us, and how do they affect us?
Sure. I mean, if we look at the skin changes, they generally are caused by UV irradiation. So sun is a major factor. And unfortunately, today's screens that we look at, and that includes our computer screens and even our cell phones, also play a role in aging our skin. And then we have the natural aging process, and with it, that's accelerated because of our genetics. Our skin type also plays a role. You know, if we have a very white, pale skin that burns easily, unfortunately, that's naturally a thinner skin, less collagen and elastin, and it'll age faster than a skin that's a much darker skin type, which has thicker and more collagen and elastin. So all of those factors will play a role in how the skin changes.
And talking about being in the sun, I mean, how good is it for us to sort of smother our faces in suntan lotion? Obviously, there should be a specific one for our face because the skin is different.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in using an SPF of 30 or more or higher, especially on our face and neck, and that includes our eyelids and our ears. It also should contain zinc or titanium or both. Zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are what we call mineral blockers. So they literally reflect the UV light and doesn't have the ability to actually cause damage. A lot of sunscreens contain chemical ingredients that act as absorbers, and unfortunately they become almost redundant after a while. They get used up. And so the effectiveness is not as good as a mineral blocker that consistently reflects.
So we should look for an SPF 30
or higher
with zinc in it.
Zinc and or titanium.
And/or titanium. Okay, sounds like a very expensive mineral to have in a sunscreen, but obviously it's key. It's good for us.
There's very effective sunscreens that are not that costly that contain either both or one of those ingredients.
I was a little bit alarmed earlier that I was trying to recover from the shock now about the computer screen. I'm staring at one all day. What is it doing to my skin?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, often in our practice we have patients who say, oh, well, I don't really go in the sun. And what they don't realize is that 5-minute walk that they take, whether it's to pick up the kids or go to the mall or go shopping, all of that adds up. And then plus, when you're sitting in front of your screen, there is UV radiation. So we need to find a sunscreen that actually is effective for that, and you need to wear it irrespective of whether we're going into the sun or not, whether it's summer or winter.
So what is this? What am I supposed to do now every day when I'm sitting in front of my computer? Is there something I can do?
Yeah, as long as you're wearing an effective sunscreen.
In the house or in the office or whatever, staring at a computer screen.
Correct.
I didn't know that. Well, I'm going to be covered in it tomorrow because I spend my life staring at the computer screen and even the cell phone, you tell me.
Yeah.
Good heavens.
Even infrared radiation can produce damage to our skins. And there are now certain sunscreens that cater specific for infrared as well. But typically your mineral blocker, that's the reason why in our practice we only supply that to our patients, is the mineral block is the one that's is effective against all types of irradiation on our skin.
So basically how it should be, you wake up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, you do the shower, whatever, you brush your teeth, you put on the face sunscreen, regardless of if you're going out the house or not, because if you're anywhere near your cell phone or the computer, you need it anyway.
Correct, yeah. So sunscreen is your most important skin regime item.
Well, I've learned something now. I didn't realize I was getting sunburned from my computer. Okay, well, that's something new for me now. Right, I mentioned that you've recently launched skinmiles.com. Tell me about that. What is that?
Well, it came about because, a lot of skincare products are available on the market, and ones that are, in my opinion, the most effective of what we call doctor only, the ones that are prescribed at a doctor's rooms. There are some well-known brands that supply these particular products, and the reason why we believe in them is because they have very high active ingredients. And that's the reason why they are doctor only, is because they can produce reactions on the skin, and those will often have to be treated by the actual doctor if those reactions do occur. But the higher the concentration of an active ingredient, the better the effect it will have on the actual skin. And up to now, they have only been available at certain specific prescribing doctors, so they're not available at every single doctor, typically a cosmetic type of doctor's practice. And we decided to have it available to anyone in South Africa. We do offer an online skin assessment, which does take out some of the guesswork, but we also offer what I call a face-to-face consultation, where people can answer questions and even send a photograph of their skins, and we can give a more specific assessment and even a guideline on what particular products their skin needs.
Gosh, so it's a lot more than just wandering into a shop or a supermarket or a pharmacy or whatever and just taking whatever's on the shelf. We're actually going to use something that's specifically for whatever our skin problem is.
Correct, yeah. We've tried to take out the guesswork, and we've tried to add some convenience that you don't have to go, for example, see a cosmetic doctor or a dermatologist and have the skin assessed. It's up front, it is very much a generalization. For most people, we can give very accurate information, but for some people, there are very specific skin concerns, and there it becomes a little bit more difficult. And if that's the case, then we do refer. But up to now, I would say 98% of people who've sent their photos, we've been able to successfully advise a proper skin regime.
You've also got a blog we can go and read about.
Yes, I do. Yeah, there's quite a few articles there on skin. And I try to be as honest and as unbiased as I can with those blogs. For example, I have an article there about eye creams. Even though we do sell eye creams, I categorically stated that we actually don't need eye creams unless we're actually treating like a specific concern around the eye. But if someone just wants an anti-aging cream, an anti-aging moisturizer is just for their face, is just as effective around the eye.
Do you find that we sometimes put too much stuff on our faces that we don't even need?
Yes.
We do.
I think we can simplify our regimes. There are very certain and specific ingredients that our skin does need to protect itself and to stay young and youthful and glow more. But there are certain things and ingredients that we don't really need. So, yes, I think most of us can simplify our skin regimes, and we can get away with less.
The other thing that I think people are not always that aware of is your skin is more than just there covering all the bones and the bits. It also is protecting us against things like germs and other sort of potentially harmful environmental elements.
Correct, yeah. It acts basically as a barrier system. It also acts to help with perspiration and to help us cool down. So it controls our temperature. It's basically the biggest organ of our body. And so we should be taking care of it more than any, or just as much as we would take any other organ.
Because we talk about looking after all sorts of other bits and bobs of our bodies, but very seldom talk about how important our skin is.
Correct.
And it's something we should be taking more notice of.
Yeah, correct. And I think also besides, a lot of people are living a lot longer and they're feeling great inside because of their diet or their exercise or both. And there's no need why their skin can't look as good as they feel. An interesting study was done which asked the question, what are the factors that make us look old? And, when we first saw it, I thought, well, number one will be wrinkles. and it's actually not. The first is the texture and the color of the skin, so that's like spots or pigmentation. Second on the list was actually the glow or the luminosity of skin. Third came symmetry of the face, and only fourth was wrinkles. So very simply, someone who's got a smooth texture skin which doesn't have pigment marks or spots and has a glow to it but has wrinkles will look a lot younger than someone who doesn't have wrinkles but is full of pigmentation marks, for example.
You've given us a lot of hope now. With all those wrinkles, we're not going to feel so bad about ourselves. So in the skinmiles.com now, if people go on there, what can they find some products possibly to look at? That you said that you do the face-to-face consultations, your blog's on there. What else is on there? What can they do? Can they buy things off the website if they want to?
Yeah, we have 14 different brands. 13 of them are doctor-only specific products. They just have to fill in a very simple registration, which is actually a skin online assessment. From there, they can purchase whichever product they want. If they're still not sure, we also have a customer service hotline where people can phone and they will speak to a trained therapist, a skin therapist. If failing that and they're not happy, they can email me directly. My contact details are on there as well, or they can take a face-to-face and get a personal consultation from me. But if they know what they want, they can go online and purchase any of the products. I think that's in a nutshell what's on offer.
Well, we're certainly not going to be getting any wrinkles from stressing about what to buy in the shops now. You've made it way easy for us now, which is great.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for telling us about that and for joining us on the show this evening.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Corin.
Thanks, Alek. Thanks a lot. Good night to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Alek Nekelek is a leading aesthetic medical practitioner and is executive director at skinmiles.com. And for more information, the website obviously is www.skinmiles.com.